after we finish up this series, which we dive on into. On the bottom right-hand side, our blue Zerg player from Team NV is DRG. As in the top left-hand side, our red Terran is going to be TY. And every time I cast TY right now, I always feel a little bit sad in case it's going to be the last time we end up casting TY ever. You never know, right? Once they go to that military. And TY is going to be going pretty darn soon. I'm sad, man. It's going to happen soon, and like I say, it's going to be rather unfortunate as well. I'm genuinely sad. Like, I always do get sad. You know, thinking it's like the last time I'm going to cast someone. You know, how many times I've been able to cast TY's games and we get excited about it and all that kind of stuff. It's, yeah, definitely sad. So, I'm not saying this is necessarily the last time. I don't know if he's going to play in Team League this weekend, for example. He probably will. But, yeah, it's definitely one of the last times, you know. Definitely getting that kind of direction. SCV. I'm going to head down to the bottom right side, commencing the builds from TY, and the natural expansion just gets that up and running. Reaper building from TY in the main base. It gets that rolling away as our CC comes on through. Thank you so much, Incubus311, for the 6-month resub. TvZ, I actually watched DRG play the ZVT against Bjorn yesterday. It was a pretty fun series. It came down to a roach attack in Game 3 that I actually thought Bjorn was dead to, and then there was the hero siege tanks that just came out of nowhere. Bjorn had them amazingly positioned and really saved the day. Made a massive difference. As the feelings here sneaking around, and Reaper is going to hop up into the main base. So into the main we go. No queen here. This might be the best opportunity you get at a drone kill. Good grenade, and wow, that just found the gap needed to make the Spore Crawler. Not always easy, because when you're running past other drones, the drones can block that Spore Crawler building, etc. And they were really, like, up close as he gives up the Reaper to get a drone. So TY desperate to kill a drone. Just wants to hurt the Zerg in any way he can, apparently. Well, not a bad start. I mean, you lose the Reaper, it's always scary that maybe DRG does something aggressive, but it is Romanticide, which is a bit of a larger map in general, and hence, a bit of a larger map, maybe not gonna see something aggressive come out of the fact that this Reaper went down. Maybe you can just play around that then as DRG. And, STY giving up that Reaper. You know, you say, well, you know, it's gonna be kind of okay for us, so why the heck not? As we do see, our pneumatized carapace, that overload speed is on the way up. Our Zergling speed really not far from finishing. The third hatchery over on this left-hand side also continue to come on through. In the next few moments, a couple of Hellions are going to make their way across down to the bottom right. So making their way down, making their way in. A couple Queens come through and just going to turn those Hellions back as the stim pack starts from TY. Viking about to finish, and the Marine production continuing too. Again, 3cc. We know how this play is very, you know, defensive, protective, and I kind of talked about this yesterday in the Beyond DRG series we casted, but, you know, DRG here basically pays for overload speed, and while it will kind of take him deep in the main to see everything, he probably could have made a pretty good guesstimate with, like, edge scouting in this case, so always paying to see that 3cc. At least now he knows drone, drone, drone. There's no pressure coming my way, not for a good little while. So make the most of it, drone the hell up, you know, and go on from there, you know. So Overlord does pull back a little bit. Viking down the bottom side is going to pop an Overlord. Kills that off as now moves back up the left here. A couple of racks coming through. Stimpak's about halfway done. The Evolution Chambers are going to be finishing, and drones are still producing. And the few Overlords still coming in as well. So waiting for those upgrades to start up. Again, DRG playing this melee style when he goes up against a 3cc opening. Something we saw him do yesterday as well. Didn't really work out. He played Lingbane heavy into a later Hydra Den, but then he never actually made the Lurker Den or the Hive. He actually just played like Lingbane into like 10-minute Hydras, and we were kind of left question marking. It just felt like it was such a late transition that never, you know, if you transition late like that, usually you're not really looking to play the Hydras, you're looking to skip straight to the Lurkers. And that never really came through, so, like I say, intrigued to see if something changes in this game to show us maybe why that style works, if it's even the style he wants to go for here. I'd be very excited. Like I say, I think it's always cool when you see players playing the same sort of thing against different opponents, and from game to game you can see how they adjust, and you know, maybe it's like, oh, that's what you're trying to do, and it makes sense because like you couldn't quite get there that game. You know, you get answers. You know, you get answers to your questions from previous matches. So I'm always a fan of getting to see things. I know this isn't like a second time around, but you know what I mean, right? A second time around, but against a different opponent. There's going to be rest of our creep teamers continue to settle down in the middle of the map as Zerglings are going to go through, and they're going to pick their way through the rocks. So rocks will begin to go down. A hatchery on this right side, that fourth base, continuing to settle down as well. Pushing through, getting quite a lot of these creep teamers picked off in the center of the map. Massive link counterattack, and TY lets the door stay down, so big counter that's going to do some serious damage here. There's no way these Marines clean this up anytime soon. So that's going to be massive, as now you see a couple of these Queens going down, these few Lings and Banes. Trying to move through as well. 13 workers dead on the other side of the map, by the way, and those Lings are only just now done. 17 SEVs is the final tally. Does DRG lose the fourth base? If he can defend the fourth after all of this, that would be really spectacular, and I think he's going to. Not even losing the fourth base really sets the tone for the rest of this game, I think, because you've also got the backup expansion that's still alive over here. And yeah, killing that amount of economy really means that TY will struggle from this point on. Those 1-1 upgrades helping DRG out massively. The speed of those 1-1 really going a long way for him, and finally the 1-1 finishes for TY after all of these fights have happened, so really a bit of an anti-timing for him every single one of those engagements. I'm pushing through, Marines coming forward, a couple of Banes are going to get picked away at, Marines go into the medevacs, and the Lings continue through for those Marines. Other Lings going to move on up, and they're going to wrap around in the counterattack once again. If they get these siege tanks, that could be absolutely massive. Deny the splash damage of TY into the future. He gets one of the two. Maybe wasn't worth quite that many Lings, but even still, I mean, like, you know, you're already in a decent position as DRG, so I don't mind it because, again, you're taking away that splash damage, and you're essentially taking away what feels like the options of the Terran player in terms of being able to push, and you're already in a strong spot from the initial defense and the initial damage done, so you can kind of afford to make those trade-outs as well. You know, you can afford to trade a bit badly because your opponent just can't really keep up with it. And he's going to go through, that hatchery will fall, so denies one of the bases, but this is the base people typically want anyway. I know it's not there yet, but it is on the way back up. I mean, the more you deny a fourth base here, I mean, the more this actually does become a little bit, you know, playable again for TY. I think his position is improving with the fact he's not allowed a fourth base to get up and running. DRG has 70 workers, but, you know, 3 bases only really allows for 66 drones of mining, so he's going to be oversaturated. And then you add on the fact your main base is mining out, well, then you're already definitely oversaturating. So the lack of a fourth base is going to start hurting DRG here. You can see that income lead that he had is dissipating a little bit. So TY bouncing back and making the denials necessary to give himself a fighting chance. It's Aspire, by the way, off that lair. So we're going to be seeing Mutalisks for the first time in this game very soon. They will stop the drops a little bit. As Marines come through, a bunch of these creep teamers going down. Lings trying to make their way onto these Marines as well. They will lift up into the medevacs and escape away. Bane continues through. The medevac's just going to load back up onto the right-hand side. A few of those drones continue down. The Zergling's going to go in, but the Marine's going to lift once again down to the low ground. 1 meter goes down. The second meter not quite dying just yet. Additional Lings still running through. Man, even this drop at TY is getting some serious damage done. Finally, it should be cleared out, right? And there should be, you know, everything killed because of the Mutalisks, but jeez, man, I felt as though that was never going to stop. Like I say, good stuff from TY, definitely doing what's necessary in a game that felt like it was going badly for him, but really has recovered well the last few moments, and DRG just struggling to stabilize. TY could just get 3-3 started, that's plus 3 armor, he needs to get that attack upgrade started as well. If you can get those upgrades up and running, you can, keep DRG back on Lingbane Muta. I mean, that really is a winning combination, so something to keep in mind here, something to keep on looking out for. As these few mutas fly back through the center, everything on the top side. DRG gonna bring this Ling Bane around. Looks like we'll probably have a bit of a push through right about now. So in we go. Gonna go chasing forward. Turret goes down. Just gonna see the Sense Tower took a little bit of damage. Nothing too crazy though as the Banelings start rolling on through. He's going to chase forward. A lot of Banes connect, and massive attack from DRG, who really wants the orbital, and he will get the denial on the third base of TY. Flies out with the mutas. In terms of actual efficiency, not bad for DRG. 1.7k difference. You can see armies lost here. Actually, TY did lose a good chunk himself, so I can say this was a successful attack for DRG. He's going to send Lings back in. There's a Widow Mine left over here, though, so something to be cautious of, and it's going to be the main base relocating to retake the third from TY, so not ideal either, right? Because now you do lose a few of the minerals that were still left in the main. So definitely is a hit to the economy. These Group Jammers will keep on going down. The Bioforce is coming in again. Creep being denied here. Zergling's going to go for the run forward. Just wants to jump on this. But Thor going to get some major shots off. The mutas were clumped up for a good long while there. As TY's army gets completely wiped off the map. This is everything going to be dying. Reinforcements show up. Not sure if they will make any difference. Maybe the Widow Mines? DRG says, I'm not fighting into those. It's unnecessary. And it kind of is. Well, it seems nice to chase this down. Well, he turns now as the Widow Mines on Burrow. And I guess maybe a few of his Banes showed up. Maybe that's what he's waiting for. But I don't think even still it was necessary. You could let that army fall back. And you could just build up yourself max and then go for a larger attack again yourself. I see a few Widow Mines loading up. Gonna go around the sides. Infestation Pit building from DRG. 3-3 upgrades. All coming through still. As we just make our Lingbane Force go back down to the bottom left here. We are gonna build a hatchery out in the center as well. I mean, at this point, TY, well, you need to not lose SCVs to stuff like this. And you lose the turrets there too. All of a sudden, another orbital command is in some serious issue. Uh-oh. Well, they're down to one orbital, so now scans are limited, mules are limited. They already were limited, but now twice as much, so it just seems to get worse and worse, guys, unfortunately. Seems to be continuing to go downhill as we hit in. Command center takes a bit of damage. Some drones died on the other side. The Widow Mine drop is actually pretty successful for DY, so again, doing what he needs to try and keep DRG from being too comfortable, but I think DRG's army is maybe just a bit too much. The only saving grace for TY will be the upgrades. 3-3 completed already. And having that in play is absolutely a set of upgrades, I think, which can maybe make the difference. Like, if he can get enough army up, it's possible. It's not a guarantee, but it is for sure possible. As a couple of missile turrets start going down. Looks as though they're going to get cleaned out. Still pushing through over on this other side. Lings and Banes are going to come running forward. Marauders get surrounded. The other Bane's going to come through as well, going in after anything and everything. I mean, as long as you're just holding this off, the mutas are doing damage across the map, and the supply gap widens between these two players as TY will try to deny this base, but, well, I just don't see any reason DRG should let this go down, right? There's fights you want to take and fights you don't. This is one you can and that you want to. You don't want to let that base go down if it's avoidable. And it's avoidable with very few losses from DRG's perspective, so looking great there as we move on through. These Marines get rid of a couple more Banelings. This hatchery does go down as well. Here come the other Banes rolling through with the Zerglings in backup. Continue to chase on forward. Another Widow Mine here goes off. A few Zerglings going down. DRG will gather everything up together once again. And just going to be seeing this army continuing to collect our drones. Going to move across toward this left-hand side. I'm just going to get by mining on a whole new fresh base. So you lose this base here. But you've got another one replacing it, and that's the issue. TY has to put so much effort into something which DRG is just a step ahead of. So it just doesn't do the damage that it really needs to do. Being going to roll on forward here. A couple of Widowmine shots going off. The Mutas in the sky doing what they can as other Banes actually do get a Widowmine kill as they just kind of trail in one by one. There you go. DRG, I think, is really ready to jump on this again, perhaps in the next few moments. Doesn't need to. A little counterattack across the map. A few lings over here just at the very end. TY tapped out. I think he saw that was an army of DRG he was not getting rid of himself. And just kind of accepting that is not necessary. Oh, made it happen. Got us into the game. Good job, Wardy. Pouting it back. Did something you usually do every single day. Top left-hand side, we do have the blue Zerg player. This, my friends, is DRG. Up 1-0 in this little best of 3 against TY. From the Brawlers Club, number 2 is in the bottom right, our Red Terran. It's TY. And hey, just so we get started, Sugar Gene with the 2-month resub on the Prime says, thanks for all the quality cast, Wardy. We all love you. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. I appreciate it. So yeah, this will be our last Starcraft series today, guys. This is a cool first from DRG, but please, 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 if I ever ask you to stay tuned for a little bit, this is one of those times. We're not going to go into this Twitch bounty with a huge viewership, so if you guys can stick around when we do the bounty, it's going to be 30 minutes of non-Starcraft when this series ends. So please do consider sticking around when this wraps up. Like I say, even if you can just stick around for the first 5-10 minutes, really appreciate it. Even if you just leave the stream on in the background while you head off elsewhere, helps with the sponsorship, helps us get paid a little more. The more we get paid, the more we can do Starcraft 2 stuff, you know, so please do consider to check that out. Please do consider to stick around whenever the series ends, if it's after this game. Or after game number 3, we'll find out obviously soon here. But yeah, it'll just be 30 minutes after the Starcraft. Stick around for all of it, brilliant. Like I say, if you can only stick around for part of it, that works as well. Anything helps, guys, anything helps. SCV moves up in toward the main base. A few lings go out the front. And just going to be seeing a couple drones coming through as well. We're going to jump into the extractor over there. As we do have the... Naturally going to be finishing soon again. Pull first. And the lings really are on a bit of a runaround. This is kind of funky because they kind of came back into the main base without the SCV seeing them. So the idea here, I guess, from DRG is position against the Reaper, but also you don't quite know where they are as TY. But TY opened with a Marine, not a Reaper, so all of this effort of DRG is wasted on somebody who doesn't have a Reaper, and he's making those moves as if there was a Reaper in play. So a little bit unfortunate in that regard, as this factory is going to drop down onto the reactor, and the barracks is going to make its way down a little further as well. So a couple of Hellions coming up, and that Zergling speed is working, and TY, well, 3cc last game. This game triple, sorry, not triple anything, double gas, and hence no triple CC, triple production structure. It is going to be our starport already on the way through, so a little more aggressive on a map that is a little bit more Zerg favored. Not a bad thing to take the initiative early, try and get a bit of a lead, and get a bit of momentum, which can help to cancel out those Zerg preferences here on Lightshade. You know, open areas to attack in, good counterattacks, good rotation of bases if one side gets denied. There's a good few reasons why Zergs like this map, so... One of the downsides of this map is that it's a shorter map, so if you do get aggressive early, those attacks can hit a little bit sooner. So not only are you leaning into the idea of maybe getting a bit of momentum built up early to help you against a map that the Zerg prefers to play on, but maybe also just the fact that those attacks will be better than usual, better than on Romanticide, because they show up that much faster as well. It's actually going to be cloaked Widowmine, so with the armory coming down and Widowmine production continuing, so we're going to see a bunch of Widowmine drops here from TY initially. Something which is not as common in the current day meta game, but was something that TY definitely popularized in some of his finals way back when. He was one of the very best at these Widowmine drop styles, and making sure they were very successful time and time again and over, so... Coming over, and getting ready to jump into this third base. Doesn't commit just yet. I'm going to drop one Widowmine off, the other's going to head toward the natural. Ooh, gets a couple drones there, not a bad start. Next Widow Mine burrows up, and that's going to be unburrow, reburrow. A few lings jumping on it, but it gets reburrowed. Just the one drone in the end then, and then the other two coming down. Spores have to build. Liberate on the way. 4 workers killed in total. I don't mind this Widow Mine repositioning either. Not a bad call. Hellions are now set up behind this too. This Widow Mine went down before it got to reburrow. It looks like this will just be cleaned up around the map with the spore crawlers, of course. There's the Hellions. Gonna join back together. Gonna jump back into the medevac. I'm gonna hop back into this main base. So this few Hellions gonna unload. And pushing forward here, just gonna see a drone going down. The Lings do get a little bit of a surround. And they do pick off a few of those Hellions. The medevac getting shot down too by the Queen and the Spore. Wow. TY even drops the question mark. I mean, yeah. I guess so. I was surprised the medevac got blown up there as well. Just, yeah, I didn't expect it to die, to be honest with you. I thought it was doing pretty okay. Oh, we do push up the top side. This Liberator coming around, and I think we'll make a play toward the main base in the near future. Those engineering base still building up. A couple of barracks coming through as well. Our factory going to relocate over to the left-hand side. Gonna drop down where there's an SUV standing. So just gonna drop this into position. Reactor will start a build. At the same time, these few Hellions coming over, looking to try and see what they can do. Hellions moving into Hellbats and pushing on through. We do see those couple of Queens gonna get chased away. Well, they should be. And this is obviously very late timing for Hellbats. It's very much says just I have an armor and I have Hellions and maybe may as well give it a try. Maybe more of a distraction for the Liberator, which sieges up on top of the Spore Crawler. So, yeah, you get 5 drones, but the Libs just dealt with instantly. Now, DRG's faster onto the Lair and the Spire this time, later onto the upgrade. So it'll be an upgrade lead to TY, something we didn't see from the last game. In fact, it was the other way around, and that kind of kick-started all the negativity for TY in the last game, because he really kind of took a couple fights just as the upgrades were finishing in favor of his opponents. So, definitely looking a little bit different this time around in terms of just the setup, but it also means these mutas on the map a lot sooner. So, TY will have to deal with those from a much earlier stage of the game as well, and that is something else to keep in mind. Hellbats and Marines moving through, and the few Zerglings have to back it up. Hellbats wolf into Hellions. They're going to get, I was going to say wrapped around, but he decided it wasn't worth taking the damage from the Marines there. So it does just back it up. As our Spire's about to complete, our Baneling speed still just ticking along, about a halfway done at the moment. And those Hellions start to pressure on through, just holding the front, making sure nothing runs by. Supplies are actually pretty decent on either side. I know DRG's got a bit of money stacked up at the moment. Still hasn't made any meters off that Spire. That's what the money is there for. And there it is, 9 meters starting. Is going to raise the supplies up in favor of DRG, but maybe TY can do something with this initial push as the first meters show up. And upgrades finish in his favor. Maybe he can do something. Like I say, getting rid of a good amount of creep spread at the very least, if nothing else. Going to continue on through. Baneling speed going to be finishing. Hellbats going to be taking some damage. 10 SCVs going down across the map to the counterattack. I felt that this attack was more important because I felt like TY needed to do a bit of something. But yeah, 10 SCVs in the background. This attack being denied. Maybe now these last few Marines, they get a couple of mutas, going to target fire down a few Banes, but running out of firepower toward the end. Few additional Marines just going to unload once more. We're just going to push into the middle here. Creep team is continuing to go down. I mean, you got a long time where this is going to be 1-1 against 0-0. So DRG having the lack of upgrades here will definitely be a bit of an effect as Marines continue through once again. These couple of Banelings not really crashing in super effectively. Well macroed so far by TY. And keeping this pressure up is not letting up at all. Just 5 racks. He has 2 factors behind it, so this isn't even 8 racks of pressure. It's just the 5 racks and kind of an all-in 5 racks, right? It's not building any more SCVs, not going into 2-2 upgrades. Really committing to winning the game with this set of units as our Ling Bane meter starts flying through. Our Marines will continue to kite backwards. Widow Mine's going off and connecting in on a lot of the Ling Bane. Marines are going to go flying forward once again there as you'll see a couple of the Queens being picked away at. just going to be seeing the rest of our Marines trying to get set up as well. More and more of them continuing through. 2-2 upgrades starting for TY in the back of the natural expansion. Big push through the center. Lings are going to run down this right-hand side. They're going to get in again. The run-bys of DRG, not just in this game, but in this series, have been fantastic. This will be another decent one. And I mean, Banes are going to start streaming through there as well. This big fight going to break out, though. Let's quickly go to the Bane lanes as they crash in for a bunch of SCVs. Let's come back for the bigger fight, which is still not really kicked off. Looks as though DRG is going to start rolling through now. First Widow Mine doesn't do much. Second Widow Mine kind of felt like it had potential. There's a little bit of creep helping the Banes out at the very end. TY has nothing left, and TY says so as well. GG, and DRG is going to take the 2-0 in this series. So well played by DRG.